It should be okay. Everything came back negative. Certainly he's sore. He'll be out a few days here just to let him recover. But structurally, everything looks pretty good.
With your offensive line, we've kind of seen you settle into a groove with maybe a starting rotation of what it might look like. Mm-hmm. How long do you want to maybe take a look at that, rotate, flip pieces? Like, how are you going about the process of determining which guys fit where?
Yeah, well, I think these first, call it 10 days, is going to tell us a lot. By the time we get to the Hall of Fame game, at least in one area of that, and then we got to make a decision there. Okay, and then the competition is still open at that point. Like, man, working these guards and then who is playing center. But I think it's kind of a two-part deal. We've got an open competition, guys competing. Certainly Tate at center. We're working him in there, see how fast he can get it. He's already. I know it's only day one. Looked much better than even spring. So getting his feet under him. But as I've said before, we know Graham can slide right in right now. And we don't miss a beat. So, we're just going to keep playing with it. So it's kind of exciting, really, just to see these guys grow and watch them develop and compete. And it's pretty good. It's a good group. Hank's going to do a great job. Always does.
Just to stay with Graham for a sec, he changed positions last year. Obviously, he was dealing with some health things. How much do you appreciate what he did last year, A, and then B, how big can he be for those two young interior linemen?
Yeah, he is big. The thing about Graham, he's dependable. He's a savvy vet. He's played a lot of football. He understands angles. He's smart. He knows the game, and then he'll help those guys. I think the hardest thing for Graham right now is not to do too much, as far as like we're trying to make sure that let Tate do it. Like right now, let him go, and so it's been that's good. But he, like I said before, Graham gives you some comfort because we know what he can do and he can play multiple roles.
And Kingsley, the day after Ragnar retired, what have you seen from him over this last year that kind of gives you confidence he can challenge for that role as well?
Well, there again, a lot of scout team reps, man. Him on Sunday, just watching him getting better and better and better. The way he competes, man, he's tough. He's physical. He is smart. Really good athlete, man. He can move. And he knows this. So much about him is going to be the anchor, man. We put pads on, the size and those things, just being able to sit some guys down, anchor, things of that nature. But I like Kingsley. He's improved, he's improved a lot.
Yeah, yesterday, David Montgomery said he called this a season or a year of reckoning. Do you agree with that? He said, we're tired of getting close and, not getting there. But do you agree with that? And does that kind of speak to an overall sense of, I don't know if you'd call it frustration from players of, you guys are having great seasons, but just aren't getting there?
Well, look, this is one of the things I talked about in the meeting the other day, and it's just, I think if we keep that type of mindset, man, we're after it. It's another year, and we're out to finish what we started. We're going to close out some of these debts. That's got to be the attitude. That's the mindset across the board. Every day in practice, no matter who we play, no matter what people think, man, we're going. And I just think it's a mindset. That's all.
And just another thing about David is just yesterday he said he was motivated. He felt like he was kind of the forgotten man last year, being injured. I know you've talked a lot about your appreciation for his running style. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's an outside thing, but I'm sure he's not a forgotten man with you guys. And how important is he to what you guys want to do?
Yeah, believe me, he is not forgotten. We know exactly who he is, where he is, and what he's capable of. And the 1-2 punch with he and Gibbs is it's special, and it's rare in this league, in my opinion, especially nowadays. So there is a place for David. He's going to help us, and we're going to use him, and we'll use he and Gibbs together. We'll do some of those things. So we know he's one of our best offensive players. That's not changing right now.
People were confused about a little bit of the timeline with Levi. Was this a thing in OTAs, or was it lingering from the season?
Yeah, I would say this is something that crept up, once once the season's done, you know, it's kind of the normal aches and pains, things that go on after a season. You know, Levi's been through a lot, and but then, you know, probably call it a month after he's signed, month and a half, somewhere in there, you know, knees bothering him. We keep working through it, you know, and it's not getting any better, and so just needed to get this done, you know. Look, we hate it for Levi, man. I mean, this is, you know, it's not his fault, and it's just another one of those things, but I can tell you what, his mindset is right. I mean, he's all about getting it right, improving himself, and, you know, it's not easy when you got to rehab year after year after year, but no.
How have you adapted to, I mean, obviously injuries are part of the game, but just looking at from year to year how you run training camps, have you run things a little differently based off injuries, or what have you learned just from the process of running camps, like especially this year, which is dealing with so many injuries?
Yeah, you know, I'm with you, but you got to be careful, you know, and I go back, I know what that is. I've got a little thing on my board, man. Don't, you know, it's, you know, you can't let anything sway, you know, your identity or what you want to become, man. You can't let the fear of injury change the way you prepare. And it doesn't mean you're not being smart. You're not reading the data. Is there something we need to, and so no, I'm not changing much. We're going to do things very much like we've done for the last 4 years, because it's led to success for us, and we play a certain style of football, and we got to keep that. It's not easy to do, but you have to do that.
Dan, I wanted to ask you a couple things about Hendon Hooker. First, I'm just wondering, have you...
What about who? I'm sorry?
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you've recently kept in contact at all with Teddy Bridgewater. And then the other part is, what are you looking to see from Hendon over the course of the next 10 days to keep him maybe in line, in favor with the coaching staff?
Teddy and I, we talk all the time. I mean, not all the time, but we communicate back and forth. I mean, I've known Teddy a long time. So yeah, that's on a personal level. I mean, he's somebody I got a lot of respect for, and so just as a human being, I'm going to talk to Teddy. If that's okay with you. All right. As far as Hooker, look, Hooker knows the deal, man. This is no different. You're out here to compete, you know, and we gave him some things to do while he was home, talking about working on a little bit of the urgency, the footwork, you know, certainly continued training. And look, it's only one day, but man, I liked what I saw out there yesterday, man. There's an urgency. I thought his footwork was on. I thought he was spitting the plays out. But there again, that's day one. And, but he knows what it is, you know. He knows it's time to take the next step. And so it's his move, you know. And I think he's wired right. And it means something to him. And so here we go, man. It's open camp.
Dan, your 6th-round pick, and then obviously, you know, you haven't seen a lot of him, but what do you think about what you have seen, maybe some assets he has?
Well, he's a guy that it means something to. You know, he's got a lot of intensity to him. He wants to learn. He's an open book right now, man. He wants to know it all. He's like a sponge. He's taking it all in. Tries to do exactly what you tell him to do, and he's high motor, man. He goes all out. It doesn't matter what the drill is, and so I think the trick there is in walkthroughs backing him down just a tick, but I like him. You know, we like him. I mean, he's wired right. It's one of the reasons we drafted him. So there's something to work with here. We'll see how fast he can develop.
These veterans you
Last three, Justin, Reiner, and Kobe.
there are these veterans you add to a roster in kind of the in-between stage of late off season and started training camp last year. Guys like Kyle Pecco or Benjamin. This year, Zach Cunningham. We see him out there, you know, filling Alex's spot yesterday, making some plays. You know, what can Zach bring to this roster? What does he need to do to, you know, maybe take it beyond camp?
He knows he's got a great opportunity. I mean, this is, you know, whatever you can do here, man, it's up to you, whether you can help us on defense or even special teams. You know, he's out there working with us on punt team, and he'll be on all these units too. So, played football. He's played in this league. He's a very good athlete. He's pretty instinctive, smart guy. So he's fluid, man. Sometimes it's effortless. You know, he's a fluid mover. we do so much stuff in the pass game because it's really all you can do in the spring, but just some of his cover skills, cover ability, watching him match a couple of routes he had on Laporta that did a pretty good job in the spring. So there's an element that he brings, an athletic element that we like, So we're intrigued, we're intrigued. And he knows this is a great opportunity for him. So we'll see.
You guys ran a lot of tempo, I guess, in practice yesterday. How much does your 4-down or offense play into that? I mean, the idea that sustaining possession is kind of essential to be able to run tempo and balance, obviously, the effect on your own defense in that sense. I mean,
well, when you say tempo, what do you mean? Are you
running kind of fast-paced plays, I guess, and trying to keep the defense off balance?
Yeah. Well, I think you always want to have a little tempo in there. We don't have a ton right now. That's why when I was asking you, I think we try to push the tempo in and out of the huddle and then get into the next play, things like that. But I think any good offense wants to change up, the way they do things, change their tempo. I think the nature of the way that we go about what we call, how we call it, when we call it, and the tempo, 4 downs can play into that, but that's not always the case. You're just trying to put stress on each other. So much about camp is trying to test each other. You're trying to find the holes in your defense, and they're trying to exploit you offensively, vice versa. Special teams would do the same thing because the more we can do that every day, the better we get the next day. You got to solve problems. You got to solve them fast. And so it's actually a good thing. It looks awful out there when it happens to one of the units, but it's like one of the best things that can happen because now you got to fix it so that by the time you get to the season, you fix 20 of these things on both sides of the ball.
So you walking out onto the practice field with DJ Reader. Yesterday we were talking about Graham being a veteran presence on the O-line, but whenever you have a defensive line that you're looking for answers there, how valuable is it to have a veteran presence like him, especially in a camp this year?
Yes. He's just like for sore eyes. He's a big man. I had a good year coming off of that quad, and he looks good. He's in shape, and he does, man. He just brings you – there is comfort to what he is and what he's able to do for us. He's a steady force, and he can play the nose, he can play the 3, he gives you flexibility, and there was a couple of reps just yesterday watching him take on a couple of these double teams and hold the line, hold the point, make a play, free up the back. It's just, he does a lot of that dirty work that can go unseen, and yes, thank God we got him.
Practicing today, and do you have a timetable?
I don't see him practicing today. I don't. It's a hamstring, so we'll see where it goes. I don't see Muhammad. We may try to get him moving today. We'll see how he feels. I think Pitt will be back. So, and then Rake we already talked about.